Hey travelers, my name is Todd. Welcome back to my podcast, Life's a Voyage. This is my podcast where we talk all things travel and life. I took a very much needed break in 2021, so welcome to 2022. I'm super excited to be back making podcasts, to be making other content, to be working on Top Voyage at all. I'm really, really excited and I feel really good. I feel really energized and just I needed it, and I'll talk about that a little bit. I was gone for quite a few months. I do have a full-time job. I have another business, Hill and Valley Creative, with my partner Adam, and then our business partner Rick, where we have a full-service production company. I talk about this all the time. If you don't know that that's what I do full-time, then I'd be surprised because it's really what I'm doing most of the time. But yeah, they needed me, they needed the help, and I do a lot of things. I'm a photographer first and foremost, obviously, but I also do a lot of client relations, a lot of, behind the scenes stuff like contracts and scheduling and client relations. I don't know, I just do a ton of stuff. I also do like website builds and social media management and a couple other things, graphic design. Which is kind of like my background before photography. I was a graphic designer for, 4 years in high school and then freelance throughout college and then switched to photography mostly. But I've definitely gotten way more back into graphic design lately, partially because it's been a really fun creative outlet, but also partially because we've just been getting a lot of graphic design work. And now we're kind of growing and expanding to the point where I don't need to be the one doing all of that, which is really exciting. We did grow our team a little bit. We brought on a video editor, Rose, who is amazing, and we love her. And we're growing as a business, and they needed me. And I just didn't have the time to run two businesses full time for both of them. And then I realized that I didn't even have the mental capacity for some things that I was struggling with internally, and then also some other issues. I just didn't have the mental capacity to be doing anything really for Top Voyage. Besides consults, I've continued doing consults this whole time, but most of the work, and the group trips, I did the group trips, but most of the work, the content creation was really draining me, and it wasn't really fun anymore, and I was doing it to hold myself to a standard that I had created, and it was unhealthy, and I really needed to step back and take care of my physical health. I did have some minor physical health issues that are resolved, thankfully, and also just some mental health issues that I'm feeling really good right now. I've talked a lot about my anxiety on this channel, but I do have other issues that I deal with, and one of them mainly was a sort of body dysmorphia, and seeing yourself on camera all the time when you don't like what you look like. It can be very, very hard. And as you can see, I struggle a lot with acne, and that's been a struggle for years and years and years. And sometimes it seems never ending, and it's hard to always be okay with it. But I'm really coming into what my body is, what it looks like, and what it does. And kind of just just doing it, just doing it anyway. I'm not trying to prevent myself from doing things I love because of my mental struggles. I'm working through them. So I'm feeling really good. I had some personal life events that were hard to deal with this year. Couple losses in the family and other family issues that, sometimes that stuff happens and we just keep running with life to try to avoid facing it. And I found that I couldn't do that any longer. And so I had to face some things pretty head on, and that took a lot of mental power. But I'm back. I'm feeling really, really good. I've done a lot of work mentally and physically and emotionally this past year. I've done a lot of thinking, a lot of journaling, a lot of talking, and I just feel really good. I don't know. This is the first time in my life I've ever felt this good, truly felt this good. So I'm just really happy right now, and I've been for a couple months. It's been a really great couple months. I don't know. It's been fun. But anyway, let's get into it. Some updates for Top Voyage. I am still doing consults like I mentioned earlier. I usually do like 1 or 2 a month, like on average. So it's definitely not like the biggest part of my business, but it's something that I really love to do. I really love helping people. Um, I really like helping people, you know, go on the trips of their dreams and be able to afford it and feel comfortable and know what they're doing. So that's been really awesome. I'm going to continue that into 2022. So if you're interested in consulting services, I'll link that below. That's been ongoing even during my break from content creation. And then for my group trips this year, we're doing Iceland, London, and Paris for Shersies. Those will be in 2022, in May, July, and August, respectively. And then those should have all launched by now. By the time this podcast comes out, those should all have launched. I know that I just got confirmation today that some of the people on the first access wait list for London, I just had 2 spots claimed. So I'm really, really excited. And I'll talk a little bit about travel in 2022 and like COVID and all those things. And kind of I'll talk a little bit more about how this podcast is going to go as well. But I have like a little exercise I want to do for this podcast. So I'm trying to get to that. Some notable things in 2021 that you may have missed because I wasn't really posting a ton. We went on the Oregon trip, which was my first group trip. I'm repping my sweater right now. For those visual watchers and for the audio people, I'm wearing an Oregon sweater that I got on our group trip. It was our first official Top Voyage group trip. Super successful. Loved it. It was amazing. We also did the main group trip, which, again, super awesome. Loved it. We got to go to Mexico, which was kind of a surprise. We weren't thinking we were going to leave the country in 2021, but my best friend was getting married, and it was kind of like a last-minute thing for us. We booked it like 27 days in advance. It was really kind of short notice, but my best friend got married in Mexico, so we got to go to Mexico, and it was awesome, and I actually loved it, and it was beautiful, and I can't wait to go back. I think if you've watched some of my other stuff, one of my goals for, the future of travel was to go somewhere tropical. I'd never been somewhere tropical, and yes, I love it as much as I thought I would, and that might be dangerous. We also bought a van. This was something that I've been wanting to do for so long, and if you know me, I've probably talked about it like way too much, but we didn't really talk about this publicly because we weren't sure if this was actually something that would be a part of content creation or we didn't really have a lot of plans for the van, and we kind of still don't. I know I definitely want to do some traveling. We've done some big road trips in it already. We've taken it to Maine for the group trip, and then we've also taken it to Florida to see my mom. We haven't really done a bunch of like renovations on it or anything, but that's to come. Sorry, this is like a solo cast, so I feel like I have to talk like and fill my gaps. And if you're an audio listener, this is probably doesn't matter, but for video, now I'm gonna have to take a little drink break. But yeah, we bought a van. Crazy. It's a 2016 Chevy City Express. For those of you that are van people, it's very similar to a Ford Transit Connect, which is a small Ford Transit. We wanted a smaller van to be more efficient on gas so that it could fit more places. A lot of the bigger vans like can't go on certain roads and way less stealthy when you have a big van. So we're really happy. We love the van. It's something that, financially we didn't know was in the plan, was not in our financial plan. But one thing I did learn last year was that, there are ways to be smart with financial decisions, even if it's not like the safest decision. So we did end up taking a loan out on it, and I think I'll talk about this on another podcast about the van, but we took a small car loan on it. We put a couple grand down. It's worth way more now with the market than when we bought it. Great timing for us. But yeah, that was just a big thing for us, not something I expected to happen. Overall, I just feel way different. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm just really happy, and I've learned a lot, and I'm sure we've all learned a lot, but not even just COVID stuff, like growing up, like I'm turning 26 soon, and I know that's young, but it doesn't feel young, I feel old. And I just feel like I've learned a lot this past year, like with business, and you learn so much, the stories I could tell, but like with clients and business decisions and some really hard decisions about like investing in equipment or in your studio. And I'll keep a lot of that stuff for another podcast, but just a lot of learning for the business for Hill and Valley, which I've started to apply to Top Voyage. And a lot of learning about other people and about myself and like the way I am and the why I am the way I am and who I want to be, and do my actions reflect that? And I think that's really important. And I'm going to talk about that more later, so I'm going to move on. And another notable thing from 2021, I started writing a book. I've always been a writer. I've always loved writing, whether that's short stories or, experimental fiction or journaling. Sorry, I'm trying to think of all these types of writing and I can't think of anything. But I've always wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to be an author. So I started my first novel, which is so crazy to put out there to the world. I did start a Bookstagram to go along with it. People have already made fun of me for my Bookstagram, so you can giggle, but it makes me really happy. So if you want to follow me there, it's Spines and Pines. And I talk a lot about writing and books and fun things, like just really happy things. It's a really happy, safe space for me. But yeah, I started writing a book, so your girl will be a published author soon. We'll see when. We'll see which book I put out first. I actually started writing one book, and I'm about 15,000 words in, which for reference is like 20% of a short book and 10% of a long book, like a novel. So I like have a chunk of a book done. And I started writing that one, and then I was like, I don't know where the story's going next. Like, I know where it's going, but like, I don't know how to fill in the gaps. So I started writing another book. So now I have 2 books that I'm in the progress of writing. And it's been a really big snowball effect. Like, it's a lot of mental block just getting to sit down and start writing a book. It's hard. It is really hard to sit down and write, but I get so into it sometimes, and I'll be writing for like 2 hours. It's so cool. It's fun. But anyway, so for the podcast, it's not just always going to be me. I just thought it would be nice to just give like an update podcast before I dive back into having guests. And I have a couple guests lined up already. Adam will be back on the podcast. My best friend Rebecca moved here from Texas. That was like the biggest update of 2021. My best friend moved to Rochester. Becca's my best friend from like childhood. Like, I think I was 9 when we met. And she is like my soulmate, like my other soulmate, because like Adam's my soulmate, but Becca's my soulmate. And having her here has exponentially improved my life. Like, I feel like one of the things I've always struggled with is having good friends that I can confide in about anything. And I think I have a lot of good friends that I can confide in, but they only know, like, you have friends where you talk to them about certain things, like things that they can relate to or things that that they'll be able to give you good advice on. Sorry, I had to adjust. But there's just like friends that you talk to about certain things. But Becca is my like everything friend. So it's been life-changing having her in Rochester, but she'll definitely be on the podcast anyway, probably a lot, because we like to talk and we talk a lot. So that'll be good. Anyway, so those are my 2021 updates. The podcast is not going to always be a solo cast. And it is going to be put up on YouTube as well as on all podcasting platforms as before. I don't know if it's going to be weekly. That's the plan. But I am no longer pressuring myself to stick to unrealistic standards and schedules that I set for myself. So you might see it come up every now and then, but probably expected every week. We have this new professional setup. That was one of our goals, was to have a professional podcasting setup. So we have new mics. We have this set up all the time. We have new backdrops. We do this for clients as well. We have a new recording device. So this room is always ready to go to set up a podcast and to shoot, which is just crazy to me. This has been like something that I really love to do, and this has been a big step for us. So the podcast has been elevated. This backdrop is just straight white. It's beautiful. It's clean, just what I needed. But yeah, I'm sorry. Now I'm rambling. Anyway, so the podcast is what it is. Those are my 2021 updates. And we're going to move on to what I want to kind of talk about on this podcast, which I don't know if I'm going to name it yet, but this podcast, I'm going to be kind of doing a little bit more than halfway review of my 5-year plan, which I know I'm probably hitting this mic and it's making feedback, but learning curve with the new equipment. But yes, I have a 5-year plan that I created for an assignment in college, my last semester of college. So we're talking December of 2018 was when I graduated college. And I made this little zine. It was an assignment. And we had to kind of talk about what our goals were and our plan for the next 5 years. And at the time, I had a very different idea of where my life would be right now. And somehow, even though some of the stuff on this is not what I was envisioning, I still did a lot of it. And in a different way. And I'm so happy. I'm going to cry on this podcast probably. Like, I'm getting choked up thinking about it. But in a way, like, life just gives you things. And it doesn't seem right at first. And then it's, like, so right. But I'm going to try not to cry. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you guys my zine. This is really putting my emotional heart on my sleeve. So I called it The Plan. Very creative tot. This was December 2018 for my portfolio class, and I called it a compilation of goals and ideas. I had this little bio page where it says, the main goal is to be happy. I'm so happy. Okay, I don't want to cry. Anyway, I'm really happy. There are things that I know I want, yet I'm open to any path that life takes me. I have many people to support me through any turns life takes. The ultimate career goal that will help me achieve my personal goals is creating a small production company that produces work for large-scale clients. This job will have flexible hours, high earning potential, and enjoyable work. I would be able to work with people I am close with, as well as be able to take time away from work to do the things I love, like traveling. So I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. This makes me so happy, like, reviewing this. Like, I looked at it earlier, and I was like, you know what? I don't really remember what it said that much. But this makes me so happy. My goal is to be happy. At the end of every day, my goal is to be happy. Like, I don't care about anything else at the end of the day as long as I'm happy. And I've had so many amazing people support me through the years. And, like, people that you don't expect. And, you have people that leave your life and you don't know why and you don't see it coming and you're sad about it. But, man, the people that are still there for you, like Becca's been there for me since I was, 9. Like, that's absurd to me. Adam and I just celebrated our 5-year anniversary. Like, the people in your life that are there for you are just, it's life-changing. But one of the things I want to talk about today is kind of, as I use myself as an example, is setting goals. And I know that, like, the new year, everyone talks about, like, oh, new year, new me, blah, 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 and, like, set goals for the year. But one of the things that I think has really helped me to, in my eyes, be very successful, and to actually accomplish my goals and my dreams and to get where I am has been making goals and sticking to them. And you can adjust goals, you can change them, but there's goals and intentions. Goals are measurable. You put numbers to them, right? Like, whatever. I want to make $10,000 this month. That's ridiculous, but excuse me, you know, like you put goals. Goals are numbers, like, or actionable items that you can check off of a list. Like, one of them I'm looking at here further down on my list is open a Roth IRA. You know, like, okay, cool. You check it off the list. It's done. It's a goal. But intentions are things like, I want to be happy. Like, that is an intention that I have stuck to. I want to be happy and healthy every day. And, you know, I think that's why I'm so in love with life right now, because I can finally kind of see past all the craziness and the sadness. And I know that this world is incredibly hard to deal with sometimes. And again, I don't want to cry, but I've just come so far. And this world's really hard to deal with. And setting these intentions makes it easier. I'll say that. But yeah, I would say that everything on this little About Me page I've done very to the T, which I haven't really looked at this in 3 years. So today I looked at it and it was very, like, I got butterflies because I was like, wow, I'm really fucking doing the thing, aren't I, guys? We own a small production company that produces work for large-scale clients. And I would say large-scale at the time, I was thinking more like names, like large names, but we're producing like large scale as in profit and money. Like we have very large clients right now, which I think is something that I've changed my perspective on over the years. Is I used to be like, oh, I want to work for a very big name brand, like, I don't know, like Nike. But now I'm like, I don't care about Nike if I'm making the same amount of money I would make from Nike from some lesser known brand or small business or something. So that's something I've really changed my eyes on. This job will have flexible hours, high earning potential, and enjoyable work. I would say I have all of those things, and I'm able to work with people I'm close with that I love. I love everyone I work with, and I can take time away from work to do the things I love, like travel. So that itself was just very refreshing to see. So here's my next page, which is my goals page. And this is so crazy to show the world because this is like my little brain. So I wanted to save money. I did that. That's not even impressive anymore to me. Like, I'm like, at the least, at the end of the day, I mean, saving money is hard, but I had already mastered that in college and out of high school and in high school. Like, my focus when I was very young was all about money, and it was about saving money and not going broke and not staying broke and like all those things. So that was kind of something that I feel very proud of, that I'm financially stable, but I don't believe money is everything. But it is a tool that we use to get further in life. So that is very important, and I am proud of myself for where I am today. Move somewhere new. This might be like one of the only things that I haven't done. And if you knew me back in 2018 when I made this, that was probably like my highest priority on this list, was like, get the fuck out of Rochester. And, you know, things change. And I'm still here, and I've talked about this before, but I'm pretty happy to be here. Like, Rochester's done it for me. And it's not my forever home by any means, but it's my home for now, and it's my workplace, and I love it here. I love some of the people here. I love the community. So that might be the only thing I didn't do. And if I was going to give myself like a little bit of leeway, I'll say that COVID kind of knocked my plan to actually get out of here out of the water. So I did actually have plans to move to New York City, but those fell through. Rightfully so. I'm so happy with that. Moving on. Get healthy. I have struggled with this in the past. Right now, I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling very healthy all around. Just went to the doctors, just went to the dentist. You know, I'm doing good. I went to the chiropractor yesterday, and she cracked my neck. It was the best neck crack of my life, and it changed my life. So that was amazing. I would say health is a journey, and it's not linear, like all journeys. Like life is a voyage. I had some minor health concerns because I was overstressed and not taking care of my body. And, you know, we fixed those. we're doing really good right now. I'm very healthy. I'm feeling really good. I have nailed that one at this point. Health insurance. I have somehow figured health insurance out. So I'm adulting to the max. It's funny because health insurance isn't as important to me now because now I know more about how the health system works, healthcare system works, and how health insurance works. It's not as much of a concern to me as it used to be, but it's still very important. And I wish we lived in a country with universal healthcare, but that's a talk for another day. Travel. I would say that I was being really good at this, and then COVID hit, and then I couldn't for a year, and then I had some really good, safe travels in 2021, and we are gonna get back on that plane, hopefully soon. We have been doing some travel. We went back to Iceland in 2021 as well. I didn't mention that earlier, and that was amazing. But I'm planning these group trips and also just smaller travels as well. And, with COVID and travel right now, it's so hard to say. Like, I don't know who to listen to anymore. I just think that as long as you're safe and you know better, like, if you have common sense, you'll be fine. Like, if you're sick, don't travel. Like, if you don't feel good, don't travel. Wear a mask, protect yourself, protect others. And just be smart and cognizant of the rules and the regulations, and also like get tested and all those things. We are vaccinated. I would encourage you to do your research and make that decision. We just got boosted, waiting for my 5G antenna to come out my head and my superpowers to kick in. They have not yet, but I feel very safe and I feel very healthy, and I had no side effects to either of the shots that I got. So feeling good with travel, like going into the new year, I'm feeling good. I feel like as long as you follow the precautions, you'll be fine. We are going to do maybe a surprise trip at the end of this month. We'll see if that happens. I'm not going to talk about it. And then I'm probably going to go to Texas to visit a friend at the in March maybe. And then we're going to do the Iceland trip in May, London in July, and Paris in August. Also, probably going to do a Puerto Rico group trip in October, but I don't want to launch that yet because I feel like it's still a little too far away to really predict what's going to happen in the world by then. So I'm going to kind of launch things like about 6 months prior to the actual trip. The next thing on my list is to buy a Tesla. There's a lot of reasons why I wanted to buy a Tesla. And I love the environment. I love the earth. Obviously, I'm a traveler, so I'm like one of those people that's like, leave only footprints, take only pictures. I don't remember the rest of it, but, I'm like a kind of hippie when it comes to sustainability and the earth, and really trying to do whatever we can as consumers to try to alleviate our impact on the earth, while most of the impact on the earth is not us. I mean, it's humans, but it's mostly corporations. But again, another talk for another day. That was my main reason. I wanted to go electric. I wanted an electric vehicle. Teslas are just fucking beautiful as well. I think they're really cute. I love cars. I love driving. I've always been a driver. So I bought a Tesla. I bought my dream car. I bought a 2021 Tesla Model 3. She's white. She's really, really cute. Take care of her. I try to take care of her. I did actually just get hit, though, like not even 2 weeks ago. So I had it for like 8 months, and someone hit me on the highway. I was fine. Minor damages. Still waiting for insurance on that, but insurance for the fixes. But I wasn't injured or anything. I felt fine. I was going fairly slow. I think I was probably going about 30 miles per hour, and someone else hit me. But yeah, I did buy my dream car and then get fucking hit for the first time in my life. So that kind of sucked, but it happens. It's life. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. I'm safe and happy. My car is just a little dented, so I got to get that fixed. But yeah, that was just something that it was important to me. I come from a family that never had anything nice, so we just didn't have the money for nice things, and I always had really unreliable cars until my dad helped me buy my last car. And I took really good care of it and was able to put some of that money down on my new car. So I love her. She's made my life so much happier. Her name's Tia, Tia and Tot. She's great, and that was a goal that like I did not see happening in the timeline it did. But I thought that would be closer to the 5-year goal. And I'm very proud of myself, honestly, because it's a mixture of like saving money and having good credit. And those are things that a lot of people don't have the capability to do at all. Like saving money isn't an option. So I'm just really proud of myself for my work ethic, for putting in the time and saving the money I did, because I'm very cheap when it comes to anything but travel, and even then I'm kind of cheap. But yeah, anyway, I bought my car. It was amazing. It's still amazing. I love her. And then those were my personal goals. For a career, I wanted to buy new equipment. Definitely done plenty of that thanks to Adam. I'm actually shooting this on the A7C, Sony A7C, which is our new like tiny, I don't want to say vlog camera. I don't really vlog with it. I actually vlog on my phone. Like most of the vlogs you'll see coming out soon will be like all on my phone. But tons of new equipment, work for myself. I am very, very lucky, grateful. I'm so happy I work for myself. Like I said, I work for Hill and Valley, so I guess Hill and Valley, Adam's my boss, but really he's not my boss because we're on the same playing field. Same with Rick. Like, 3 of us are kind of on the same playing field. So, you know, I'm very lucky and grateful that that's my life. And I worked for that, and I really made that my goal. And I'm proud of myself for sticking to it, because it was definitely like a deep dive, like a dive off the deep end when I first left my big girl job and dove into the self-employment realm. But I'm really proud of myself because that was scary. Like looking back, that was ballsy. Like I really had a lot of balls back in 2019. Established clients. We have tons of clients that I love working with, ongoing. Some clients have become friends, and that's amazing and so fulfilling to have clients that like care about you as a person and like ask you how you're doing, and they keep up with your personal life and vice versa. You know what they're doing with their lives, and that's really fulfilling. I just put Hill and Valley on here. That kind of is all of this. Own studio space. So yes and no. We don't own our studio space, but we have our own studio space. We started at the Hungerford in July of 2020. We signed our lease March of 2020, right when the pandemic hit. Or maybe it was April. It was like very, very fresh, but it was kind of like the right decision to make. And I think I've talked about this before. We kind of just needed to make it work. So we got the studio space, and then actually in 2021, in September, we expanded our studio to include this podcasting room, as well as another 1,500 square feet of studio space over in the main studio. So now we have about 3,500 square feet of studio space, all for Hill and Valley, which is incredible. And when I said studio space, I was not thinking the level that we're at already. Like, again, I'm going to cry, but like, I'm grateful for our clients and for Adam and Rick and how hard we've worked and everyone that's helped us along the way. I love my job, so that's the next thing. I really do. And then I don't know what order this would have been if we actually folded the zine, but I think next would be the timeline. I'm like rotating the page, the zine, because it's like laid out for print. So year 1, I was supposed to open my IRA, find a full-time job, commit to exercise and healthier eating, save money for moving and travel. I did all of those things like immediately after I graduated. I worked a full-time job at RIT, which was a great experience. I was in great shape back then. Quarantine kind of actually, it was after quarantine that messed it up. But I did all of those things, and the now, like, as immediately after I graduated. Leave Rochester, obviously didn't do that. Have a job with benefits that I like. I changed my mind, and that was no longer what I wanted. So from the time I graduated in December 2018 to December 2019, when my contract with RAT was ending, I had already decided that I no longer wanted to work for someone else and that I wanted to go full-time freelancing with portrait photography. That's what I did, and then also for Hill and Valley. But all of 2019, I was a full-time portrait photographer making, like, decent money. Like, I made a full-time salary, like, throughout the year. Like, obviously, like, there was low months and slow months in the beginning. But by the end of the year, I was making very good, like, very good money for being a portrait photographer. But then by the early 2021, I didn't want to continue doing that. I wanted to work for Hill and Valley. So, yeah, I had already not wanted this goal by the time I was supposed to achieve it. Build up personal equipment inventory. I had so much equipment by then as well because of Adam. For year 2, while working full-time, established clients, have tons of clients at that point, evaluate if I'm in the right place. I did not do that. I'm doing that now. We are at the 3-year mark already. So December of 2021 or 2020 would have been the 2-year mark. And at that point, COVID had hit. I had started Top Voyage. I had started my own business on top of the portrait business, which that was a sole proprietorship. So I don't always necessarily call it a business. And honestly, it kind of doesn't exist anymore. My portraiture kind of goes under Top Voyage now. I just keep the website separate for design purposes. I don't know. But yeah, I'm evaluating now on year 3. Go on next big international trip. I love this because I did not think that I would be making enough money to go on the trips that I've already gone on. We've gone to Iceland twice since I graduated, and Iceland was like the top of my list when I graduated college. So that is just, like, I don't want to cry. But yeah, that's big for me. And I've gone to Mexico. I've gone to Toronto a million times. I don't think I've gone anywhere else internationally since then. No. But that alone is more than enough to make me happy. Move if I'm not in the right place is year 3. So this is where we would be now. We do have plans to move eventually. It's not going to happen right now. I don't want it to happen right now, honestly. I'm really happy with where we're at. I would like to move houses. I love my apartment, but we would like to buy a house, which I'll get to. But no, I'm not leaving Rochester anytime soon. We'll give it a couple years. Be in the right place. I feel like I am in the right place. And this is really funny of me to say because this is year 4, and we're technically on this timeline. We're like in today's time. When I am filming this is technically year 3. And now I'm looking at my goals for what I thought 4 years from graduation would be. And I am in the right place. Establish my own studio space. I do have that. Invest in the next level equipment. I do have that. Like, I feel like I kind of limited what I believed I could accomplish. Or maybe I just did it all really fast. I got really ballsy and I took a lot of risks. Because life's too short. But yeah, I've done almost everything on this list already for my 4-year plan. And then for 5 years, own a business. That's the first one. And I own 2 businesses. Technically 3 if you count my sole proprietorship, but I don't. We own 2 businesses. Buy a house, that's in the works. And then buy a Tesla was in the 5-year plan. Meanwhile, that happened back in like 2.5 years, not even. And then engagement, maybe. We won't even talk about that because who knows when that's going to happen. I'm not really pressed. But it's just so amazing to see, like, how we can make these goals for yourselves. And it's fine if they change. Like, I'm super happy that I've met what I've met and that I haven't met what I haven't met. Like, I am so proud of how hard I've worked to get to where I am. And I am perfectly fine and happy with the goals that I haven't accomplished because they're no longer goals that would serve me, or that, like, if I just stuck to this plan and ignored my internal happiness and what I wanted, like what I wanted at this moment, I would have just done all these things and I wouldn't be happy. But I'm happy that I could push aside the part of me that's like, well, I said I was going to do this thing, so now I got to do it. And it's like, no, you don't, because you can change your mind. And I changed my mind. I've changed my mind about a lot of things. And one of those things is moving to New York City, and something that I wanted to do since I was a very little kid. And I just don't think I want to do it anymore. Like, maybe if I'm like super rich and bougie in the future, but I don't really see living in New York City being my lifestyle anymore. And like, I've just changed my mind about a lot of things, and that's okay. It's okay to change your mind and move on and just grow. Okay. So these were like my options about like where I wanted to live. New York, California, or Seattle. We really love Seattle. We'll probably move to Seattle eventually. Definitely not California, definitely not New York, and I can't see myself living anywhere else but Seattle long term. Excuse me. So yeah, Seattle is definitely where I'm going to be. I could own my own business, buy a house and a car, be close to Canada and nature, all good things. Smaller industry, it's a little expensive, it's far from family, and not as much to do. I would say that I was wrong by saying not as much to do. I think you could do anything in Seattle that you could do in New York. It's probably actually going to be less expensive than New York. But yeah, I'm very happy with that. That growth and making the decision not to move to New York just because my family's there, or making the decision to not move to New York or LA because that's where everyone in the industry goes. Like, I'm not concerned with what everyone else is doing anymore. I'm concerned with what I'm doing and what Adam's doing and what our business is doing and how that's fulfilling me career-wise as well as in my personal life. So big growth. Big growth. It feels so good. And then I just did this little career steps, full-time employment, and then own a business. I did that. I didn't technically work full-time. Like, I wasn't like a salaried position, but I did work full-time hours at RIT as a marketing assistant. And that was a great job. It paid well. It served its purpose for an interim. And now I own a business. Now I own 2 businesses, and I'm very happy and grateful for that. And then on the back of my zine, I put this little checklist, and it's funny because I remember one of the professors like seeing this and was like, that's cute. That's cute to be happy and healthy and courageous, integrity and determination and be loving. And it's like, it's not cute. It's important. Like, to me, that's important. And I think a lot of people aren't happy. And there's so many reasons not to be happy. And again, I'm not going to even go there, but it's important to prioritize happiness and to do the things you love and to be with the people you love and to, do the opposites of those things. Don't do things you don't like. Like, why I was doing so many things I didn't like to make other people happy, or because I thought that's what I should do. And like, I was hanging around so many people that didn't make me happy and didn't support me or my business, but I was giving them 90% and they were giving me 10% or less. It should be like, surround yourself with the people that are going to love you and support you and be happy for you, and to understand that if you have a problem, that you can talk about it. Like, it doesn't have to be a big problem. It could be a little problem, but yeah, I'm around the people that make me happy now, and that's really important to me. And my health is really good right now. That's something I've been prioritizing for a long time. It's really paying off. I feel really good. My mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, I feel really good. To be courageous, to take those risks, it's scary. It is scary. Like, what I do sometimes, like, is scary. I give myself a lot of anxiety. But it's because those risks I take make me happy because I know that they'll get me closer to the goals or the things that make me happy. And going down the list, integrity, I think it's so important to be true to who you are and to yourself and to not let people sway what you want or what you believe unless, presented with new information, you can change your mind. But I feel like there's so many times where I've tried to fit in. And it's sad. It's sad to look back and see how many times I tried to fit in and changed myself for to be that photo girl, to be a photographer, to be in a group of friends that you don't fit into. Like, I don't fit into those groups. And I need to be true to myself. And people will make fun of me for the things I do. And, oh, you post things. Like, why would you do that? That's cringy. Or, people make fun of me online. And it's yeah, that fucking sucks. Go get a hobby. Why would you bully people on the internet when you see that they're doing what they love? But I've definitely had times where people doing that has stopped me from pursuing what I like to do or made me change my mind about, oh, is what I'm doing right? No, I'm not doing crimes. I'm not committing crimes. I'm just doing what I love. Why? I'm no longer changing myself to make other people content. People make fun of how I look or, I'm not by any means a model. I'm not, a model, but I'm really coming around to loving what I look like. And yeah, I'm not going to try to change the way I look to fit someone else's standard of what they think is beautiful because I'm fucking beautiful. And I'm going to be conceited and confident because I deserve to be because that's true to myself. I'm not going to freaking get lip filler because people tell me I have small lips. True to myself, I don't care how big my lips are. I like the way my face looks. I like my lips. So anyway, be true to yourself. I could go on forever. And determination, I would say that I'm pretty good at this one. I think there's a part of me, I was talking to Becca about this, but some poor kids, when you grew up poor, you have certain things. And one of them is a really good immune system. And one of them is determination. You can't kill us. And that's kind of a metaphor. But you can beat me down and I will be so determined to keep going because I have been to the point where I have nothing. And to me, I could lose everything I have. I could lose all the money I have. And as long as I have the people that I love and that love me and support me, I could rebuild and I could do this again. And I know that. And when you've had nothing, the only thing that matters to you is your relationships and the people around you. So as long as you stay determined to achieve what you want to achieve, and you have those support systems, you can do anything. And you can do it a million times over. So stay determined. And love. We all love love. I don't know what to say about this, but just love. Just have more love for all people. And less hate. There's so much hate in the world. Just love. Love is so important. Not romantic love. Just love. Just be open-hearted and yeah, just love. Yeah, this got really emotional really fast, huh? I knew it was going to get emotional, but it's fine. This will be cute. I'll look back on this one day. And this is one of those things, someone will probably tell me or make fun of me behind my back and be like, oh, this was so cringy. And it's I don't care if you think it's cringy. This makes me happy. And I really want to be able to show people that if you really put in the work, if you really set your goals and you want to accomplish them, you can. I came from nothing and I am here and this is what I've done in the past 3 years. And this is what I was supposed to do in the next two more years. So 5 years. But holy crap, I did that. It's just really exciting. And I'm really happy and I'm so grateful. So grateful for everything I have and all that I've been given. And I know that there's so many people that don't get to do what I do. And I know my privilege, and I know, because I've seen it, I just know how lucky I am. I'm going to leave it there. Anyway, so next week, anyway, I'm very grateful. Thank you to everyone who watches this, or you don't even have to watch this. I'm just happy to have people in my life that care about me and to be able to do what I love. So thank you. Anyway, moving on. The podcast will go on. I will have more episodes coming soon. Next week, I am going to be filming with my good friend Kirsten, who I love and adore. We met when we worked at Ulta together years ago, and she actually went to RAT, but I didn't know that. But we actually worked at a coffee shop at the same time, but don't remember meeting before we worked at Ulta. So really funny, like small world story. And then we actually saw each other in Ireland. We had booked completely separate trips. She was with her family and I was with Adam, and we met up in Ireland. It was wild. But excuse me, she's a Taurus, so she's definitely one of my people. But she's going to be coming on the podcast next week, and we're going to talk about her. She's working on planning a amazing national park trip around the country. She's going to do it in her Prius. She's going to car camp, so it'll be a car camping national park episode. We'll also banter and shoot the shit, so it'll be really fun. That's coming up. And then I have some other planned collaborations coming up as well that I'm not going to talk about just yet because they're not on the calendar. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has watched my podcast. I was looking at my performance the other day, and it looks like you guys really love the car camping episode, as well as the Iceland culture compare episode. I'm hoping to do more of those. That was really fun to get Daniel's perspective on Iceland, and it's just such an interesting culture. It's different. It's way different than America. But I'm hoping to do one with someone from Australia very soon. And then we'll see what other ones I can get going. But you guys really liked the car camping. You guys really liked the culture stuff. So we're going to do more of that. This is just me coming back and getting comfortable with doing this again. So I really appreciate you guys for giving me the grace to do what I love and to be a little cringy and to put my heart on my sleeve and put it all out there and cry a little bit on the internet, which is so cliche or whatever now. Everyone's doing it. Go cry on the internet. But the community that I've built is really cool. Like, you guys still message me all the time, even though I'm not active at all. You guys are awesome. I'm just going to put it there. I'm not going to cry anymore. I'm really happy. And, yeah, I'm just working on myself and changing. I would say, like, I used to always say, like, oh, if you knew me before 2019, like, I'm sorry. Like, if you knew me in college, like, I'm actually sorry. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, that was bad. And if you knew me in high school, like, let's talk about cringy, but I've come such a long way, even in the past, like, 3 months. I am a different person. I don't know, there was a flip of a switch somewhere in there, and 2021 was big, and it was so horrible, like, with the pandemic, and it still sucked, but it was big. It was big in a more profound way that I can't really describe. But thank you again for letting me do this. And don't forget to do all the things like liking and subscribing and whatever. But I appreciate you all for listening. And I'll see you next week, hopefully. Thank you.